The tilt is real.
The tilt is real.
This is when the tilt is real. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of The Tilt is Real Fantasy Podcast. Coming to you live from the Chef's Table. Here are your hosts, James Crease and Juan Pena.
Let's go. Welcome into another Tilt is Real Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, James Crease. It is Wednesday. Oh, man, I love Wednesdays because we get to sit down here and talk about fantasy football, episode 38. And we're finishing up our Tilting into Dynasty part 3. It's a 3-part series that we've done over the session. Juan, myself, Mr. Swanson have all contributed along with special guests. And of course, with me as always, Mr. Juan Carlos Pena, joined here at the Chef's Table. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, Chef. Any day we get to talk about fantasy football is a great day. And if Mr. Swanson was here, he would have said, it's Wednesday, my dude.
I know, man. I said it without him actually sitting here.
I know, right?
And it kind of messed me up a little bit on the intro.
Feels a little empty.
But we have a special guest with us tonight, joining in from Fantasy Intervention, Mr. Corey Spala. And Corey, go ahead and shout out where you're from, what you do, who you work for. I know you work for no other than yourself, but you do a lot of things for the fantasy community, and let's hear about them.
Yeah, so my name's Corey. They call me C.FF on the Twitters. Me and Chef Juan go back to the DHH day. So shout out Tyler. So now we're on Fantasy Intervention, just doing Dynasty stuff. I edit the videos there. Shout out the Checklist. That's my group. We also do YouTube videos, more covering sports in general. But in fantasy, I'm more of a Dynasty guy. So that's how you're going to digest my content. Really just join our circle. That's it. _ can't forget that, or else we're just some knitting group. But other than that, we're here today. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He fit that in there. Awesome. Perfect. And welcome, everybody. Welcome back, all you tilters out there. It was another great NFL weekend with both conference championships going on. Hats off to both the Chiefs and Bucks fans out there. If there really are Bucks fans out there. Sorry, just kidding. It will definitely be another exciting Super Bowl, Juan.
Yeah, and we called this before the season started, and it feels like, with Brady, like as a Dolphins fan, like, bro, the fix is in. Like, Brady is in it every year. Like, he's been at what was the number? Like 20% of the Super Bowls that have been played, Brady's been in them, or was it higher than that? Was it
like 10 out of 21 seasons or something, like 12 out of 23 seasons or something?
Right. It's absolutely unbelievable that he's just back in it automatically. Like, it's seamless. He's just like, Brady, oh yeah, I'll win as many NFC championships as Aaron Rodgers. No problem. I'm here.
Yeah, the stat was like he has a higher chance of making a Super Bowl than Steph Curry has making a 3.
Right, it is, because it was 38%. It was over 38% for his career.
It's higher than Steph's 3, so that's something, considering he's the best 3-point shooter. But let's take it back to football here. Sorry, guys.
No, well, look, he's been in 9 Super Bowls. He's won 6. He's lost 3, but he's been in 9 Super Bowls in 20 seasons or 21 seasons. So it's absolutely mind-boggling that he's back here again. First time in history that a team is hosting the Super Bowl and they're in it. So, like, that's the first time it's ever happened. I believe it's a Brady. And then Bill Belichick goes 7-9 the year Brady leaves. Like, who was really responsible for those championships now? Like, are we starting to discuss that?
I mean, this year, 2020, with 2020 involved, it was a wild season. Okay, the Patriots got hit the worst by the pandemic. We saw that happen. They had the most players opt out. They were all about the defense before that happened. They had a very, very strong defense. And the fact that they even went 7-9 surprised me because they lost so many players.
Belichick, according to the Chef.
No, 100% no. I am a Giants fan for life. I will never, ever give Belichick that much satisfaction.
Sure. Got to give credit where credit's due, man.
Wait, since you're a Giants fan, Chef, and we're talking about the Super Bowl real quick, hold on. How cool would it be if Spagnuolo gives Brady yet another one?
Oh, he's definitely going to do it. I'm definitely on the ketchup train, bro.
All right, on the Spags.
No
train.
catch up. Shout
No
out John
catch up.
Circle.
Shout out to the circle.
Shout out Circle.
Last week, we continued our transition from redraft to dynasty discussion with special guest Tyler Gunther from Dynasty Happy Hour, who we just mentioned, which all three of us worked with and had the pleasure of doing business over there. Check out Dynasty Happy Hour. They are a great podcast. Great bunch of guys, know a lot about fantasy football. And we talk player values, trade techniques, and draft strategy. And in case you missed it, please go back, check out episode number 37, because that will lead you into what we are going to talk about today. And it was a great one. We got to talk about player values, a little bit of trade advice, and draft strategy. So this week, we will be completing our 3-episode series on tilting into Dynasty as we talk 2021 rookies.
It's exciting.
And we'll talk about a little bit of taxi slots. It'll be good. We'll get you there right where you need to be to come in and join Dynasty Fantasy Football as we have. And Juan, breaking news. Lucius, one of our fans, reached out today. Shout out. I don't know if
Lucius
I'm allowed to say your
Morenas.
government name on here or not.
Lucius
I won't.
Morenas.
But shout out Lucius. He reached out to me today, wants to be in the Dynasty League. So that's number 3. We got 3 guys. So we have 6 spots left for the inaugural
Tilt
Squad Dynasty League. It's going to be fun. No money, free, or we play for charity as we open it all up. But feel free to reach out to us at The Tilt is Real on Twitter. DM me, DM Juan, whoever. Hit us up if you're on Facebook.
Go to thetiltisreal.com and leave a voice.
Message. Leave a voice message. That'd be great. Or comment. Go back on podcast form and leave a voice message on Anchor. If you do that, you are definitely in the league.
Hey, can we?
You'll get the first pick.
Does that the 101?
Dude,
yes.
Told you.
Yes, that is great.
Do it.
That is great.
That's easy.
Corey, you're not allowed.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, it would be too easy. So whoever wants to join, obviously take advantage of these guys. You'll have a great time. It'll be super easy. So, and get that 1.01.
But before we get into the Dynasty talk, shout out to people in the chat. Taylor, I'm here to roast the chef. Let's get him in there.
He's here to roast, Chef.
He's
going to be.
Hey,
Taylor. It could be me.
Taylor, you want to come on?
It's definitely going to be C-Dot.
Taylor, let me know if you want to come on here and you want to try to roast the chef a little bit. I will happily have you on right now if you are available to live stream.
Do it. He likes his wife and kids.
IMBQ, he says, no ketchup.
No ketchup.
Yeah, I love
Taylor
it.
Taylor is a content creator.
He is.
Oh, I love
like
Taylor.
Taylor the creator. I like that.
Taylor the creator. He's known as Cold
No
Tea.
rapper, though. He doesn't have rapper.
I used to make this sandwich. It was called the Cold Tea. It was a cold turkey sandwich. Very dry.
Dude, that shit's probably
dry.
dope, though. You had that mayo?
Probably.
No mayo. No. He's too cold to have mayo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And listen, shout out to Corey for joining us this week. Last week we had Tyler, and now we have Corey in here. So we're definitely getting some fantasy insight. And we're going to be able to help our listeners who are new to the Dynasty game and be able to transition, like you said, Chef, from redraft to Dynasty. So this is going to be a fun episode.
I'm here.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Let's get right into it. Let's get into the news and let's get this ball rolling here.
Like a bowl.
It's the weekly reel, presented by The Tilt is Real. It's the weekly reel. Let me hear that news.
Yeah, give us that news.
Yeah, man, we do the news here a little different here, Corey. I don't know if you've ever watched the show or not, but that is a staple in the Tilt is Real fantasy community.
It is. We do the breakdown, and the chef always has a little bit of music, a little bit of gadgets. We like to do a little different. We like to have fun. We like
to keep it entertaining. And
let's do it.
I mean, we've had guys watch us on their big screens, which is amazing. So I'll take that.
You know when they should be watching on the big screen, Chef?
What's that?
Tomorrow night.
Oh. When you mean yours truly gets all dressed up?
My man.
On
the bow
What's
tie.
tomorrow? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow is you can join in the fun with Fantasy Intervention tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our brand new game show called The Blitz, hosted by yours truly tomorrow night. It is a football trivia, fantasy trivia game show with some guest stars. We have John Luke from Yards Fantasy and Sal Leto, the host of the Scott Fish Bowl Podathon. awesome group of guys there. Joined with me, my co-host Nate Povote. Hey,
Nate.
we ran through his blitz so fast last week.
That was impressive, Chef.
Shout outs to the guys that joined us, man. I was super nervous when we started, but we flew through it. 22 minutes. We had enough time to go through again. Almost broke through it again. But it's a lot of fun. And join in the chat tomorrow night at Fantasy Intervention on YouTube and at Join Our Circle _ on Twitter. And check out everything Fantasy Intervention at fantasyintervention.com. Shout out to those guys. Shout out to Chase Vernon out there and everybody in the Join Our Circle crew. Go drink the Kool-Aid and join our circle at fantasyintervention.com.
Let's plug.
But some real news going on here. ESPN Adam Schefter reports teams are already reaching out to initiate contact with Matthew Stafford. Trade talks. What's going on here, man?
What's going on?
First domino. Like the way Mina Kimes was talking about it today or earlier this week on her podcast. And it was that this is the first domino to fall because Stafford is the most attainable. Like before you can go get Deshaun Watson, before Aaron Rodgers decides to make a stink, like it feels like the first one to fall is Stafford. He's the one that you can get. And he's out there and the Lions are definitely willing to listen.
Younger, available.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
33, a little bit lower price. Like he has a few landing spots that are ideal. The Washington football team feels like a great one.
Yeah.
And so far, the only team that Stafford has been indirectly connected to is the 49ers, who said to be monitoring the situation.
That's a good one.
It's a great landing spot for him there as well. We talked about the 49ers in another episode, the Jets with Deshaun Watson, and it's going to be who hits the button first, who gets paid, who's able to take on that contract. And with Matthew Stafford being in good graces with the Lions compared to Watson with the Texans, I think it makes a lot of sense that Matthew Stafford gets a deal done before Deshaun Watson.
So if he's the first domino to fall, does that mean he could be the cheapest? Because he's setting the market then. So the team has to jump on that. And why not the 49ers, the team that you said he's linked to be able to like get the jump on it, set the market so they don't have to kind of overpay, which you have to for a quarterback.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to have to overpay C-Dot for if it's going to be Deshaun Watson because the reason he's got the no trade clause. So he gets to dictate where he lands, whereas Stafford has zero control. He's willing to listen, to move, right? So as long as the team comes and offers something that the Lions can't refuse, they're already picking number 6. A lot of people have them projected to take a quarterback pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
So they're ready to move on to the next chapter, and they'll take whatever they can get, whether that be 18 from Miami, 21 from the football team, like whatever they can get
Colts,
right now. Colts around there. So I feel like he should be the first domino to fall.
That's a good one.
It makes sense. I mean, he's due $33 million in 2021, so that's a nice little price tag to get paid.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt the dead cap space for the Lions. And
100%. The Lions already said, okay, we're going to get rid of you.
And we'll
help you.
And then that's a lower price than Kirk Cousins. So if I can have Matt Stafford for cheaper than I can get Kirk Cousins or Carson Wentz on my bench, then I might be willing to consider.
It makes sense. You know, you pick him up on a 2-year deal and see what happens. You know, at least you get a viable bridge quarterback at the very least. And he's not that. He's way more than just a bridge quarterback. Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, don't bring that up around him. Don't disrespect him.
I'm not disrespecting him. I'm not disrespecting.
He's got $5K.
Come on, bro.
In other news, the Athletics' Jordan Rodriguez believes the Rams are unlikely to bring back free agent running back Malcolm Brown. Now, Brown was a nice veteran presence for youngsters Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson, but it's time for the baton to be passed. You know, I loved Akers, and it's his time. We saw it towards the end of the season. We see his capabilities in that offense. We heard Andrew Whitworth is coming back for another year.
Wow.
I heard that yesterday in the news. So that just helps the benefit of Cam Akers in that offense. And Malcolm Brown, he's going to get picked up somewhere else. He will. He's a vet on the cheap. The running back carousel is way more amazing right now than the quarterback carousel, in my opinion, because of all these free agents. And Malcolm Brown will probably add to that.
You said 55 free agent running backs.
55. It'll probably be like 56 or 57 before we're all said and done.
Yeah. But at 28 years old, he served his time and he was serviceable and he was a good backup. But they have Darrell Henderson. They have Akers. You can get guys on a cheap free agent contract, maybe cheaper than him, or draft one in the 4th, 5th, or 6th round that fits your need. And you can just move on from them. And at least it makes it easier, right? To determine who's it going to be. Is it Cam Akers? Is it Darrell Henderson? Is it Malcolm Brown?
I think you're going to be looking at like a similarity to what the Browns did with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very good comparison in talent as well.
Sure. Hey, I just want to let you guys know I feel really left out because for those of you that don't know, Chef and Juan are right there. They're making eye contact as they talk. So I know I'm here and I'm able to hear you guys, but I don't have that same vibe. And I'm just a little bit jealous. You know,
have more vibe than all of us put together, dude.
But,
so,
you know
what I mean? It's just that you're not here.
I'm here. I just wish I was at the chef's table for real rather than virtually.
You're welcome
you know?
here anytime.
We would love to have
anytime. I'll cook
All
you
right.
a meal.
I'll pour you a drink.
Yeah. We'll wine and dine. See that.
For sure.
Yeah, as long as we put the cereal before the milk. Hashtag
Cooter.
All right. Well, what's next?
All right. So up next in the news, running back Jeff Wilson just re-signed to a 1-year contract yesterday. Wilson is coming off a 600-yard season, 6 touchdowns, rotational back in Kyle Shanahan's offense, but seemed to be the piece that they needed to get by when Raheem Mostert went out, and both him and Mostert are tied to the team in 2021. So it should be A and B.
The same as always, right?
Yeah.
Running back by committee with Kyle Shanahan.
Especially with both Tevin Coleman and Jerick McKinnon set to be unrestricted free agents in 2021.
Where does that leave JaMychal Hasty?
I was going to say the same place you saw him, C-Dot, when they broke out against the Patriots that 1 week. And it was
sitting in the wings.
And it was Jeff Wilson and JaMychal Hasty, one going over 130, the other one going for like 68 yards. Like those two were able to run the ball in the absence of Raheem Mostert. So I feel like that's their backfield.
And then quick Super Bowl news, Le'Veon Bell with a knee and Sammy Watkins with a calf are expected to play against the Bucs. And on the other side of the ball, Antonio Brown with a knee. I know he's not practicing this week, but is expected to be ready for the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. It's going to be a great Super Bowl 55, man. It really is. I'm excited for it, even though I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
You really think any one of those guys is going to miss that game? Like the Lizard King sat out
all season
just for this. Like this is what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
you're playing. You're playing for sure. Who was the guy that had the broken foot that put up like it was a TO with the Eagles, right? He had a broken foot and he played. Not sure how like an ACL, but a broken foot, dude.
And he kept them in that game. Like he was a major factor in that game.
Insane.
And speaking of the Eagles, former Eagles assistant coach Deuce Staley got hired by the Lions as the assistant coach. That's a good move for Deuce, man. I like him as running back. It's great for DeAndre Swift.
It is great for DeAndre.
Oh yeah,
who I comped throughout the season to Miles Sanders. So the comparison is there. Deuce Staley, his running back drills, he hosted part of the combine drills last year. Who I don't think Swift went out and did.
I don't think so either.
But I think those two are a dynamic duo, and I'm happy to see him paired up with DeAndre Swift in the Lions organization. And on the other side, Adam Schefter said that the Eagles are expected to hire Shane Steichen as the offensive coordinator. Now, Steichen coached alongside the new Eagles coach, Nick Sirianni, back in LA for the Chargers. And that's where Steichen is coming from, coaching as an interim offensive coordinator in 2019 before taking on the full-time role in 2020. And guess who he coached, Juan?
Who's that, Chef?
About me,
this
man.
guy. Oh, I'm sorry, Corey.
See, I'm not there, man.
He went through and raised Justin Herbert. I'm not going to say he has all the credit for taking on what Herbert is, because Herbert is maybe a generational talent, especially the way he broke some records this year. But
Pep Hamilton wants a word.
He was a way to coach them the right way, and I'll give him that. So look forward to Jalen Hurts taking a step in the right direction, and possibly if Carson Wentz stays with that offense, he is going to get better. Hopefully, they have to repair a lot of things on that offensive line.
For sure, huge step back there.
Yeah, with that O-line, like I don't know exactly what they're going to do and if that's going to be able to remedy or fix everything, Chef. I'm really not as optimistic as everybody else with the Eagles and what they're fixing or what they're not fixing right there.
Yeah, it's a tough line. It really is.
Are you biased talking about the Eagles, Chef?
Not really. No, I own both Miles Sanders and Carson Wentz in a dynasty league.
So his interests are split, C-Dot, but at the end of the day, like if I cut him open right now, it's going to be blue that comes out of his skin.
100%.
Oh no, yeah, obviously.
You know what I
That's
mean?
my question. Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I'm a fantasy player. I'm a fantasy manager. I'm a
You are?
commissioner. I play
Chef.
dynasty. I play redraft. Best ball, whatever. It doesn't matter about what team they're on. It just matters about the production.
Bias.
And yeah, I am a little biased. I have Jalen Hurts sitting in the ranks, still on my taxi slot in my dynasty league because I didn't have to take him out this year because I was already out of contention.
Who is it?
But I have him for next year. And speaking of taxi slots, that's what we are going to get into today. And that's why Corey is joined with us. We are going to wrap up our last part of Tilting into Dynasty with our Dynasty 101 segment, Dynasty 101 Part 3, C.FF. Let's hit it. All right. Let's get it. Just got to find it. Session. Like we addressed earlier in the show, last week we discussed trading and how to scout players during the off season. This week we'll take it up and wrap up this 3-part segment with talking rookie draft and taxi slots.
Mm-hmm.
So, Juan, when we hit into rookie drafts and taxi slots, what is exactly a taxi slot for those listeners out there and viewers that don't know what it is?
It's basically your reserves. It's basically your guys that you can stash for a year or two. In most leagues, it's 2 years. You can have a freshman and sophomore season per se, and you can kind of redshirt your guys. A guy that you pick up in this year's rookie draft. Let's say you draft Kyle Trask a little bit later on, as C-Dot might be inclined to do. You don't want to rule him out right away. You don't need him in your lineup, but you want to have him on your team. So you put him in your taxi slot, and he doesn't count against one of your roster spots.
He does not.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. What happens after the season if you want to bring him up?
So you can feel free to do that. You have to drop one of your other players and bring that guy into your active roster. The only recommendation I would make is that you don't bring him up until you're ready to put him into your lineup. Not till you're ready to put him on your bench or not till when you need him. Don't bring him up until he's ready to go into your lineup.
And now different
Absolutely.
Different leagues that we're in have different restrictions as far as the taxi slot position. For certain leagues, like ours in particular, we have a 2-year limit on our taxi slot. Some don't, only have 1 year as rookies to make a decision whether or not to take that player off. Some players can be a 1-year contract, a 2-year contract, or ours 2 years experience. They have almost full 3 years in the league before you have to remove them. The only problem is you have the draft that goes on behind that. So once the regular season is over, you do have to make a decision if those players are on your taxi slot that year, whether or not you want to move on from them. And in return, you have your draft picks to kind of be like, okay, well, these guys didn't really pan out in their first year. I'm going to move on and I'm going to hit the rookie draft. And Corey, why don't you tell us a little bit about drafting rookies and how you approach a rookie draft right off the gate, not necessarily in a startup, but say a 2-year league that you've already been in.
See, but with Corey, like I just wanted to warn all the viewers, like this dude knows what he's talking about when it comes to drafting. And I've been in a couple of leagues with him already where he knows how to plan for the future and he knows what to do. So this is something you want to definitely pay attention to.
All right. We're 2 years into the draft, as you said, 2 completed years. So usually during the startup, I tend to draft by the first year punt. A little background to that is I'm drafting a little bit more for the future, so I will take the younger guy as opposed to the Julio Jones or the Todd Gurley. Now, this is obviously, you don't bring up Todd Gurley, think about the knees, but he had a little bit more immediate production, I guess, is what I'm going for. So if we're in the second year, I'll be drafting around the 1.12 because I'm a champion, Just kidding. Okay, so it's all about kind of roster need, roster construction. Now, this kind of gets a little bit messed up because you should be taking best player available and not going for a roster need, because your rookie draft will tend to happen after the NFL draft. So maybe April, March, or that's backwards, April, May. Yeah. And you got plenty of time to make trades. So I'm taking best player available no matter what. But I'm going to take in roster construction need. And with taxi squads, like was said, that those players are your more developmental. So when you're assessing what a developmental pick is, when you look at 2020, you're not going to have Justin Jefferson. You're not going to have CeeDee Lamb on your taxi squad, although some people do, and that's a different conversation. But generally, you want those developmental players, and that to me is quarterbacks and tight ends. Running backs are very immediate production type players, and you can get lucky and get like a mid-second round pick, and that'll work out. So I'm looking at tight ends and quarterbacks mostly because when you look at like Jake Luton, I don't know how to say it, sorry, for the Jaguars, when he filled in for Gardner Minshew, you could promote that guy and then flip that guy for a draft pick to someone who needs a immediate quarterback, especially for a contender. So I'm looking for those tight ends because typically they take 1, 2, 3 years to develop. And that guy could just sit on that taxi squad because, like Juan said, that they're not counting for a roster spot. And if your league is able to have 2, 3, just multiple years of taxi squad usage, that'll behoove you to use a tight end there. Now, when you think about it, what the Green Bay Packers did in 2020 draft, whether you agree with it or not, Jordan Love is going to sit behind Rodgers for minimum of 2 years. Someone like him is a perfect taxi squad addition because you don't have to worry about Jordan Love. Like, you have 2 years minimum before you're like, shit, maybe I got to bring him up, or maybe I have to. But whether the point being, that's 2 years that you had that's not with the roster spot. And someone like Jordan Love is a perfect candidate for it, whether you believe in his talent or not. A lot of people do not. You got to kind of view this taxi squad as developmental. Now, this is something like the NFL practice squad, which they're kind of people battling, whether it's for injuries, for, healthy scratch sake, but you got to kind of view it as a practice squad, but more of a developmental league. The G League for basketball, I guess. Maybe the minors for baseball. They're not kind of ready, but give them a couple years and they could be ready to come in and swing in for home runs or pitching no-hitters.
I like that, C-Dot. Not only can they come in and help your team, but they're also building as an asset, because that guy sitting on your taxi squad can go, get an opportunity, get a chance to start, and you may not need him, but somebody else is like, hey, man, that guy you got on your taxi squad got an opportunity to play, and he's shining. Can I have him? Sure. And now you find yourself in an opportunity where you're like kind of, harvesting these rookies and these young players and turning them into future assets, into bigger assets, because somebody else's need, not necessarily your need.
I agree with that 100%. I have Gabriel Davis, Denzel Mims,
love that,
Jalen Hurts, all on my taxi slot, and dude, that taxi squad is good.
Somebody might want one of those guys to be in their roster, and they're willing to pay for it.
So, as I said, you shouldn't have people like that. Why did you put them there? Is it just because your roster is so stacked you can't help but have Mims on their taxi? Why is he on your taxi?
Pretty much, yeah. It was a 10-team, 24-man roster.
No championships, though.
It's only the second year.
Your boy got
it's only the second year.
Okay.
Only second season.
Cool. I was just checking because
I had bad luck.
So
maybe a little bit.
You know how I brought up kind of about taxi squads being like
I'm stacked
NFL
running back
practice squads? Have you guys ever played in a league where a taxi squad where owners could come for your taxi squad guy and try to claim him?
Oh no, but I like that.
No, I like that though.
So it's just a quick little synopsis or a little thing on it. It's like if they claim the guy, I think it's like whatever you drafted him as. So we say you drafted him as the 3rd round. If someone claims him, it would cost you like a 2nd round pick to keep him and block that guy from taking them.
Ooh.
So you got to value which one's more, and then it's cool. So that's just a different talk and a lot more to go into.
Like that though. It vultures the rosters.
Yeah.
It makes it a little different. I like that.
That's a different. That's a
It's a
whole
lot
thing.
harder to go
Different
into.
taxi
Like
squad.
vampire.
That's deep down.
But it's kind of like real NFL
football there.
squad where some people could keep some, I guess, and at least in this day and age, and then you could claim people from other people's taxi squads. So it's a different little aspect. It's a little more intricate, but it's at least something to think about.
And we mentioned getting those draft picks and how valuable they can be going into a draft. How many draft picks and what draft picks are you mainly targeting? Are you targeting all 5 rounds or 4 rounds of your rookie draft, or are you just looking to capitalize in the first or second round?
For me personally, that's going to depend on roster construction. Am I going for the win now? Am I trying to win the title? Am I in the playoffs perennially? Because if I am in the playoffs every year, then I'm willing to move my draft picks for known commodities. I'm more willing to trade down, so that you can, to get another guy that can help me win this year. I'm willing to solidify positions. I'm willing to trade my picks for handcuffs. There's a bunch of different things if I'm win now mode. But if I'm like C-Dot and I punted in the draft in the beginning, now I want to acquire those draft picks. I want as many of them as I can, because if you hit 4 draft picks in the first 15 or 16 picks, only 1 or 2 of those might hit. You're not always going to go 4 for 4. So you want as many picks as you possibly can to, cast a bigger net and try to get the most return back.
Yeah, this is a huge huge, thoughtful, in-depth question. What were you going to say, Chef?
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
No, so what jumped off into my head is you kind of got to know what the draft class is. We could say you should get a lot of picks early second round, mid second round, but what if that class is not deep? So specifically, I guess last 2020, you saw how deep that was with these current players. Justin Jefferson was going in the second round in some leagues. Obviously, if you have people who know their stuff, they might take him in the first, but typically he was going early second. Anyways, what I'm saying is 2021, this is a little bit of a deeper class. There's at least some notable names mid second. So it's hard to give out advice like saying to acquire multiple picks because it's all draft class dependent. Like one draft class could have a very well-rounded one. One could be more top heavy in wide receivers or running backs, like in 2020 with DeAndre Swift, Dobbins, Akers, CH, all those people, Taylor. So what I like to say is you should focus on hitting your first round pick. Like you shouldn't have to worry about finding that sleeper. You need to worry about hitting your first round pick. And during that process, as you're scouting, you're going to come across some extra people. So I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it, like roster construction that Juan was saying. Like there's just so much that goes into it that just focus on hitting your first and second round picks and then let the dominoes fall.
Shout out to YZR Fantasy. Stop posting things that make me mad. Hey, that's what we do. We state our opinions here, especially with rookie picks, and that's part of what fantasy Twitter is. Really,
Indeed. It's all opinions.
Yes,
Chef. Listen, if you go back to 2016. Let's go back to 2016. Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Paxton Lynch, Christian Hackenberg, Jacoby Brissett, and then we got to Dak. So if you correlate that and say like this year, that's what's going to happen. How can you say, oh, I love Zach Wilson? Like, you don't know, dude. Like,
no, dude.
Right? You have no idea what's going to happen. So we're formulating opinions. We're trying to watch the tape, and we're going to give you the best thought. But at some point, you might have been like, Christian Hackenberg has a very live arm, and he's a big, strong quarterback. And then somebody might have been like, Mel Kiper, Zach Wilson's going number 2. What do you know, Mel Kiper? You know what I mean? Like, Pat Mahomes is number 10.
Speaking of what of you know, I have to bring her back up here, and it's shout out to Cooter Doodle.
As she knows.
What do you know about putting milk before cereal in the bowl? Okay, real fast, Corey. Is it cereal?
Oh,
before the milk? Nope.
Sorry,
can't say that
sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry, all the listeners. My bad, dude.
No,
I'm not going to edit it. It's all right.
It was Corey, not Chef.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. He told me not to say it. I said it. Cancel me.
No, we're not canceling you, and we're also not canceling putting in your cereal in a bowl and then.
All right. Yeah. So it's obviously cereal first, then milk. It's obvious, but I guess the theory, you put the milk first, then the cereal to keep it crispier or something. But it's like, who's taking that long to eat cereal? I'm down in that. And getting a second bowl. I mean, so it's cereal then milk.
I kind of don't even want to see the milk. Like, I'm not a milk drinker. So like I pour my cereal in the bowl and I pour the milk until I know that the cereal starts to float a little bit. And then I'm like, I'm good. That's all the milk I need. It's going to be just fine.
That was a lot of milk too in Cooters, dude.
Right. Like, that's crazy.
That's a lot of milk.
Bowl, like, I don't need a whole bowl of milk.
You got a family. You got to milk.
Yeah, and that was my complaint. Like, you run out of cereal before you drink all the milk anyway.
And
normally,
you got to put more in. Yeah.
There's normally not the equal ration of milk to cereal in a bowl of cereal, unless you're a chef and you're sitting there measuring it out.
You know what? I don't know this about.
You don't use measures, dude.
Are you an only child though? Like, because if you're an only child, you have the box to yourself. Like, you can sit at the table, pour all your milk, and then just little by little keep pouring cereal as long as you like, and then you're good. But if you have siblings, that box of cereal is a wrap. Like, you get yours while you can, fill up your bowl, and then maybe you get some milk, or maybe you don't. Maybe you need orange, or maybe you need water. But like, you might run out of milk. But you're not going to run out of cereal because you already filled your bowl.
Cooters got it like that, man. She's sitting on 2 jugs at a time, dude. She's got the whole milk and the 2% in the fridge.
She lived one of them big
she's got the 1% hiding behind the 2% just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, who wants that? She's got the water jug where you just hit the cold and hot thing, and then she's got milk coming out on the ready.
She's got a frother.
Yeah, I bet you she lives in a house like Forrest Gump's house, like a big old former.
I mean, if she puts the milk in the bowl beforehand, she could typically use a frother to steam her milk.
Here goes the chef with all this.
All of a sudden, she's making a frappuccino. She's making a
cereal
chino.
Cereal. I don't know.
We'll work on it.
I guess that's okay.
Yeah, warms. I drink. Yeah, I eat oatmeal every day. Actually,
it is just like oatmeal.
Yeah, I guess so. He's a chef, though.
If you use frosted flakes.
I don't know. That sounds a little
cinnamon
weird.
Toast crunch.
I get down on some cinnamon toast crunch. That's for sure.
Yeah, how can I not want the whole bowl full of cereal in that scenario?
Fruit Loop latte.
How do we segue back to fantasy?
What'd you say?
How do we segue back to fantasy?
No, it's easy.
A cereal fantasy.
Yeah, and we're gonna go right into we're gonna Fruit Loop right into our next segment. Okay, and that is, I guess we're at Dream On, huh?
We are.
What is that?
All right, so let's get into it.
What is it?
I gotta find it, man. I'm working
before the chef finds it though. Like, this was a great segue into it because we didn't really segue into it. But like, if you had a dream about cereal, and you wanted to move in that direction, dream on.
Yeah, I'm gonna dream right into some cereal, and then put the milk on top. Woo! Yeah, you put the cereal in the bowl first, and then you pour the milk on top. That's the way it's got to get done.
Dream on.
And Cooter brings up a good question here. She says, "Which player looks like they do milk first?" There are some
Chase
of those.
Claypool. He's Canadian. Maybe.
Oh,
maybe they do it different up there.
That's a stab at the North.
Why? Maybe they do that different up there. You know what I mean? Maybe they have extra cereal. They don't have a lot of siblings. I don't know what their situation is. I just feel like maybe Chase Claypool has his own box of cereal and he can slowly put it in there. I'm not trying to steal his cereal.
I don't know.
In this segment, we're going to be talking about we're going to do some speculative landing spots for potential 2021 rookies. And it's not all about how they perform. That take their draft stock in fantasy, dynasty fantasy, to the next level. We all saw CEH. I had him as my 6th running back in the 2020 class, and him getting skyrocketed, getting picked up by Kansas City, made all the difference in the world. And now reality's starting to come back. He's coming back down to life a little bit with these other big bruising backs. J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, even Cam Akers hitting
Antonio
later
Gibson,
in the season. Yes, Antonio Gibson. We have
Bowden Jr.
Bowden Jr.
My man.
Oh my God,
that's my man. Don't
That's
get me
a little
started
too far
on
there,
Bowden.
Corey.
Don't let me get started on Bowden.
But we want to have some fun. We always like to have fun on the Tilt is Real, and we're going to play some speculative ads to our rookie draft. Now, we just came fresh off a rookie mock draft for the case study. We case studied 24 rookies. All right. And we threw it in the case study. Go over to Fantasy Intervention. It will be up sooner than later on their YouTube channel. Shout out to C. for getting that editing done as soon as possible. As soon as this episode is over. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. But no, we had a lot of fun over there. It's very informative. We gave you some extra early tips on some positional players for the 2021 rookie draft. And we're going to have some fun here, man. Let's dream on a little bit. Lana, why don't you kick us off with who you have for your first player?
Yeah, Chef. And this is Dream On, right? And I'm a disclaimer. I'm a dreamer. I don't
dream on, man.
I don't hate any players. I'm never one of those guys that's like, I'm fading so-and-so. I'd just rather have A player over B player. That's as far as I go, as far as shade or hate or any of that stuff. But every once in a while, and the chef tells you this all the time, like, I'm a sucker for love. And I fall in love with people. And I am. I'm a sucker for love. And I think I'm in love with Trey Lance, bro.
I hope I'm not in any drafts with you.
Chef, I mean,
he's a real talent. Man.
He's a real talent. I feel the talent. I feel the fact that if you watch the tape, he's a big Lamar Jackson or a big Colin Kaepernick. Like, he's a dude that can make every throw, but he runs like the wind. He runs over people. He's physical. Small sample size. I get it. So my dream on is that Trey Lance somehow slides. Right now, they have him projected going number 4, maybe sometimes number 6 to the Lions. Like, he's going up high. I just want him to go down to 8. I want him to land with the Panthers, learn from Teddy B for a year, and then have CMC and DJ Moore at his disposal with a growing team with Joe Brady's creativity. I would love to see Trey Lance land there. That's my dream on, and it would be the ideal situation. Patrick Mahomes, once upon a time, wasn't a sought-after rookie, and he went to, Andy Reid, and Andy Reid had a dream, and he went and he had an idea, and he dreamt on, and he took his guy with the arm talent, and he made him into a star. So maybe that can happen for Trey Lance.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat here, and people are saying it. Here's the Lance comp I like, Cam Newtonio. I guess so. I wouldn't comp him to Cam Newton. I think he's a faster player than Cam Newton and more accurate with the ball. The man didn't throw an interception until his one game this season where he had that little rookie scouting game back in November, and that was it, because he didn't play this year due to the 2020 pandemic. And for all of you that are listening out there that don't know about this, we do not say the C word on this show. We are anti-pandemic. It's called a 2020 for a reason. It could stay in last season. We're here now. It's 2021. Just to clarify on that a little bit. But no, Trey Lance, awesome. I think he had a QBR of 180 in his sophomore year. All right. He comes from North Dakota State. Who else came from North Dakota State?
Carson Wentz. It gives you a little bit of pause, doesn't it? It gives you a little bit of pause, and I get it, but he's a totally different player. And if he lands in Carolina, for me, that's my dream on as far as my quarterback.
I like him wherever he goes, but yeah, to dream on that he lands with the Carolina Panthers, that's a sweet dream, man.
Sweet dream.
Corey, who do you got cooking up next?
So, I kind of want to go out a little bit of a top 10 pick, and I'm going with Ramondre Stevenson, the running back.
Big boy.
Yeah. Well, talking about that, a lot of people were saying he's 250, but at least he was noted at 247. So in the Senior Bowl, he weighed in at 227. So the dude is cutting weight.
He's getting, know that.
Yeah, dude. Here we are, man. Let's go. Talk about dream on. He comes from the Big 12. He was the 3rd highest rated according to PFF, whether you want to believe in them or not, whatever, take it for what you want. Also, out of the Big 12 running backs, he was 1st in missed tackles per attempt. What else? So scouts are pointing out, not me, I don't watch too much film. I kind of like to look at people, whether it's Real Scouts, Ray JQ, Debbie Kane, whoever it be. But scouts are pointing out that for his size, he has excellent footwork and mobility. And if he's cutting down to 227, that's still a pretty big guy and coming more into like maybe an NFL body. And to have that footwork and all that stuff is great. He's a tough runner, physical runner, and he has that explosiveness with some pass catching ability that's noted. So this is all kind of coming out of draft capital and the NFL draft. If he could get like a 3rd round pick and land with Pittsburgh, that would be really make it interesting to take this guy in your 2nd round of your rookie drafts, because he could be the de facto RB1 for the Pittsburgh if they throw out Anthony McFarland as the change of pace back and let Ramondre Stevenson take over that backfield. So Pittsburgh, 3rd round, 4th round, whatever it may be, is kind of what I'm hoping for. I don't know if that's true. Like, I'm not like an expert in all this stuff, but nice little flyer.
I'm leaning into it as well, and I'll fall with you. I didn't really like what I saw out of Ramondre Stevenson, but he is a bigger back. He's a bruiser. He does have good speed for his size, and if you're saying he's cutting down weight, that means he's only going to get faster. So yeah, he may be that 1-2 part of that 1-2 punch. If he landed in Pittsburgh, that would be very ideal.
There was a young man at Michigan State at once upon a time that came in almost 240, and he dropped a little bit of weight and he became a stud in Pittsburgh. So,
wasn't he a fullback going into the draft, quote unquote?
He about 240 fullback was the idea, good footwork, but too heavy. And then he lost weight and he became Le'Veon. So
you heard it here first.
To you, Mr. Spala. Good kudos to you.
All right. I like that. And I'll follow up, and I'm gonna go quarterback here. And it's a dream. Okay. And it could be a good dream or a bad dream, all depending on landing spot
here on Elm Street.
But
I'm on Dream Street.
Mac Jones. Okay.
It's already a nightmare.
No, wait, but hear me out. If you can get him in 2nd round of a rookie draft, like we just did on the case study for Fantasy Intervention, I believe I got him later in the 2nd round, right? What, the 207 or something like that?
Yeah, 7.
206, 207.
8, 9, 1,
yeah,
2.
It was very, very late. All right. So Dream's landing spot for Mac Jones is the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. He's a pocket passer with a nice deep ball. He doesn't run too much, which Andrew Luck or Phillip Rivers ever did. And he would help my Pittman shares so much that I'd be able to sell so much for the 2022 season. It'd be insane. But yeah, I think he would actually probably be a starter in that offense. Maybe 1-year bridge. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Jacoby Brissett. I don't know what they're going to do around the league, but in a dream scenario, if I have a mid-2nd round pick in a super flex league and Mac Jones is sitting there, I will take him, especially if he's going to Indianapolis. So yeah, dream position for him. Yeah, Indianapolis Colts, Mac Jones.
I like that, Chef. And I'm gonna roll Tide, and I'm gonna stay with you right here. And I'm gonna go running back from the Tide, and I'm gonna go Najee Harris. Like, I know it's a high pick, and it's someone that's gonna get picked in the 1st round more than likely, or maybe early in the 2nd, the way running backs have been falling in the last few years. But if Najee Harris, for some reason, ended up on the Atlanta Falcons, with Arthur Smith, he already wears the 22. He already is 6'1" and 3/8 or 3/4 and weighs 230 plus pounds. He's kind of a Derrick Henry type running back with maybe better footwork and better hands at this stage in his career. And he goes to the guy that just helped Derrick Henry get 2,000 yards. He's going to be a smash draft, top elite type of running back right from the jump.
Yep.
That line is underrated. That line has Jake Matthews, Caleb McGarry, Matt Hennessy, Lindstrom. You know what I mean? Like, that's a line that has potential. You still have Matt Ryan. Figure out what you're going to do. You have Calvin Ridley, and you got a coach that's going to be committed to the run. I love me some Najee Harris, and if he ended up in Atlanta, I think that's the ideal landing spot to be able to have him be a fantasy relevant running back right off the gate.
Nice. If we're going to bounce off the Falcons there, I actually have a guy at a different position on the offense that I like. And this is all dependent on what they do with Matt Ryan, but I'm going to go with the quarterback of Jamie Newman. Now, he's 6'4", he's 230. He's shown flashes as a passer, as a runner. So he did transfer from Wake Forest to Georgia for the 2020 season. for whatever reason. I can't say. He didn't play for the 2021 season. I think y'all get it. Anyways, so in 2019 at Wake Forest, he had 180 rushing attempts for 574 yards and 6 touchdowns. As we're looking at this modern NFL, you got to have a little bit of mobility. There was a lot of speculation. I was looking back as I was researching this guy, and this time last year, a lot of people were speculating if he'd be a first-round pick in 2020 if he played well at Georgia. He didn't play this year, so that obviously hurt his draft stock. If he could find himself second or third round draft capital in the NFL, this is going to make him a little bit more intriguing dynasty asset. A little bit of concerns with his accuracy. He has a career accuracy of 60.5, which isn't good in college. But if you pay attention during his Senior Bowl, this will kind of dictate what's going to happen for the NFL draft. So if he could fall with the Falcons, maybe Pittsburgh, again, to bring that up and learn behind Matt Ryan, Big Ben. If he does go to the Colts, if they have that bridge quarterback too, this guy could be a little bit cheaper. This is like your Jake Luton kind of dynasty stash. Maybe Newman, to bring it first full circle, is a good taxi squad guy.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, and that makes sense, man, because everybody, Gardner Minshew was just sitting out there.
Hey, Josh Allen was 59% for a long time.
Even high school. He never until, I don't think ever till this year, he had the completion percentage over 70%.
Oh, no, definitely not 70%.
Definitely not
60%
yeah.
even. That's how bad he was.
52% his rookie year.
Bad.
58 point something, 58.3, 59%
But
last
look at him now.
Exactly.
It takes
So
time to develop for some people.
And we got a little bit of breaking news coming in here.
This just in. We have breaking news.
I love breaking news.
All right, guys. Well, we talked about Deshaun Watson earlier today. And this is some Texans news. Tom Pelissero reports, yes, the sides have to work out the contract, but appears the Texans have their man. David McCulley has received praise for his leadership and the way he connects with players. Now the Ravens head coach will attempt to do so in Houston.
What?
Oh, it's a head coach update?
Head coach update, man.
I thought that. Wait,
I thought you meant there's a trade.
David McCulley is going to be the head coach of the Houston Texans.
So Deshaun Watson's moving on. That's the breaking news.
Well, not officially, not
He's
yet.
moving on.
Dream on, man. Dream on.
So wait.
Dream on. He comes to the Dolphins.
So wait, is this a good dream or a bad dream?
It's a
for
nightmare.
Deshaun Watson.
Oh my God, what a nightmare! Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's Marissa Tomei. It's a nightmare.
Like I don't think it's such a nightmare for Deshaun Watson. I really don't think so.
He's leaving.
If he can pair up with what Lamar Jackson did, what they did in the Ravens organization with the quarterback scheme, building around the quarterback, that's exactly what they need in Houston. Why wouldn't Deshaun Watson buy into that?
He doesn't like the general manager, the coach. Like, no, he's
the team, no traffic.
Despises the head coach
and he's about to walk
of the Green Bay Packers. And we thought that last season as well.
Man.
And he came back in and he did his thing and led him to a conference championship, which he should have won by running in the ball. But we're not going to get into that. There were a lot of multiple different facets that made that decision happen. But regardless,
breaking news.
Regardless, it is breaking news. It is a little bit of a coaching carousel that we continue to monitor here at the Tilt is Real Fantasy Football Podcast. And I guess that's part of the deal, man. We don't know what Deshaun Watson is really going to do. All we can do is speculate right now. And guys, just, for dreaming purposes, are we still saying that Deshaun Watson is going to move on past Houston?
He's gone.
No.
You think he's staying? See that?
He's the top two person I would start a franchise with in the NFL. It's Mahomes and Watson. So I feel to trade him is really dumb, but I don't know what's going on internally. So obviously there's that real possibility that he gets traded. I just think it would be super dumb to trade like a guy like Watson at his age at the quarterback position, the most important position. So yes, I see it happening, but like I just don't know why you would trade him.
Yeah, if you're the Texans, you're going to blow that thing up and start all over again would be the reason that you would do it. But yeah, they should not. But he does have the no trade clause, so he could go if he gets to go wherever the hell he wants.
I know. It's nice.
I mean, that's only if they get the offer that the team is willing to give up.
But there's not leverage though as much for Houston.
FF on BQ, like we're talking about the Ravens wide receiver coach. Like Miles Boykin's coach is going to be the new head coach of the Houston Texans, and you want him to stay because like he can't. That's not what he already said he wants to go to the Jets. He wants to go to the Dolphins. I think he was wearing 49ers gear and he looked good in it too. And Jimmy G, Sam Darnold, and Tua all can go plus a pick or two for Deshaun Watson all day, every day.
So 3, yeah, dude. If you're a team, you gotta get Watson. Like, dude, are you kidding me?
If you're the 49ers and you're Watson away,
trade Bosa.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told
trade Bosa. Who cares? Trade whatever you want, man. Trade Bosa and a first round.
You like defensive ends? Here's Bosa, JJ Watt's heir apparent. Let him take over and a draft pick or two. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And Watson with those weapons. Woo.
And we're talking about 49ers, and we'll get back into our segment here. And my dream on is Kenneth Gainwell, running back, going to the 49ers.
Ooh.
Nice.
All right. So he's Miles Sanders-esque, in my opinion, in build and ability. He could be utilized early, and I want early production from rookie running backs. And I know that Mostert and Wilson just got extended, but we saw how fast both of them went down this season. Okay, so Salvan Ahmed, same thing. He went to Miami, popped up. Jermichael Hasty from the 49ers, he went in there and chewed up a little bit of yardage. Imagine Kenneth Gainwell and that offense with McKinnon and Tevin Coleman moving on this season. That is a dream landing spot for a young rookie running back that has the ideal play set skills to go in and take over an offense. And what a perfect offense to do it in. They're young. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. All they need is that quarterback piece. And we all know that it's not Jimmy Garoppolo that is going to be leading them this season, or at least we all hope that it's not going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. We want someone with an RPO system that can run a real RPO system with the ability to throw the ball down the field. Kenneth Gainwell fits that perfectly. And if Deshaun Watson, if we're going to be dreaming here, Deshaun Watson does go to the 49ers, I'd be smashing the button on Kenneth Gainwell, because we saw what David Johnson did in week 13 or 14, 15 maybe, where he went off for 10 for 101 receiving.
Just receiving, yeah.
Just receiving. That is all a part of Deshaun Watson's game. He plays that backyard ball where he's flushed out of the pocket. He needs to make a decision, and he leans on his
outlet.
His outlet. Yeah, thank you. His outlet of the receiving running back. And that's what I wanted to say.
Indeed.
So he could definitely be a cornerstone in that offense. If he went to the 49ers, Kenneth Gainwell, I really, really enjoy. I'm enjoying his tape, watching him. Man, he's just so good. Elusive. He has the ability to make the catch. He has breakaway speed, and he has the potential to be an every down back. And that's what the 49ers want. They want someone that can go in there week to week and actually churn it out without getting injured. Whether or not they get injured is the question. He may have a little depth in front of him with Mostert and Jeff Wilson.
Or 28, whatever he is. Isn't it Mostert?
Mostert's 29, yeah, and will be 29 this season. And Wilson's a little bit younger, and he just got a 1-year extension, so they'll both be there for 2021. But I like Kenneth Gainwell, man. I in my rookie drafts, I'm targeting Kenneth Gainwell. Doesn't matter what round I pick.
I like that, Chef. I like that. And, like a guy that, I guess since you dove deep, you know what I mean, with Kenneth Gainwell, I'm going to go with my deep stash and a guy that I would like to see go. And the reason that I picked this guy is because he's not going to go early enough where it's going to hurt that team. But when he goes to that team, it would help them exponentially. And that's the Jacksonville Jaguars drafting Brevin Jordan. You're going to take Trevor Lawrence at 101. You don't have to take him at, in the second round at the 201. You don't have to do that at the 33rd overall pick. You can get him a little bit later on. And he's a tight end out of the University of Miami. And the only thing that's missing from that offense, if you have DJ Shark, Colin Johnson, and Laviska Shenault, James Robinson, Tyler Eifert's not the answer long term. Now, you just got Trevor Lawrence. How do you complete that puzzle? You complete it with a tight end, a guy that's 6'3", 245, can stretch the field, but still holds up in the blocking game, which you're going to want for James Robinson. He can stretch the field. He can run all different types of routes. He's good at the point of attack, and he's athletic. He's built like Vernon Davis. He's just not as fast, but he can take the top off the defense if he's matched up with a linebacker or a slow, strong safety. So the missing piece, I think, for the Jaguars offense is someone like that. And in the University of Miami, they use them on smoke screens, jailbreak screens. They use them in a lot of different ways. And it's a name that Brevin Jordan, like most people don't know that name, but keep your eye on him. Keep him in mind later on in the drafts, because tight ends don't develop right away. But we mentioned Taxi Squad. He's a guy you can stash. He might flash here and there, and you start him in year 2 as a breakout candidate with Trevor Lawrence after you see what he becomes at the next level.
I can get down with that to an extent, but I'm a little afraid of what's going to happen with Urban Meyer coming in as the head coach and his total picture of an offensive scheme. We know him for running the ball, the RPO system that he used in Ohio State with J.K. Dobbins, Justin Fields. Is that going to translate into Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars? And if so, where do the tight ends really fit in to that system? Because we don't see any notable tight ends coming out of Ohio State.
No, mostly they block.
Right.
If they're there, they're blocking.
So James
O'Shaughnessy hold up well in
in
the blocking game.
James O'Shaughnessy and Tyler Eifert in that system makes more sense. I like where you're going, because he is going to be a sleeper tight end, and I know that's why you
kid. The reason I like them is because they ran the RPO in Miami, and with King as their quarterback, like all he did was run the ball, and he was counted on a lot to block, especially and set the edge. So if Dearness King is their quarterback and you're going to run a similar type of system, he's going to be expected to do the same at the next level. And I think he's better a blocker than Eifert, not as O'Shaughnessy, but O'Shaughnessy is kind of fantasy irrelevant. But I think he's going to be a good stash for the future.
I like that. And you can get him rather late.
Right. Probably the 4th round or so, 3rd or 4th round for sure in rookie drafts.
So Corey, who do you have as your second guy you'd like to talk about here, man?
Another guy that I want to bring up, I guess bouncing off the tight ends, is Hunter Long.
Like that.
Boston College, 6'5". He has a 6'11" wingspan. Hey, 2020 AP second team All-American, first team All-ACC. He's your traditional inline tight end. So he's fighting for this tight end 3 in the 2021 class. A notable thing is he had the most receptions of any FBS tight end in 2020, and he had 35 first downs. So coming from all these receptions is 11.2% of those passes were 20 yards downfield. 23.6% of targets were from the slot. But a little bit of downgrade is that his pass blocking kind of took a hit the last couple of games. The last 5 games he struggled in. He had 1 game over 62.0 pass blocking grade. So, not kind of good. You kind of want a tight end blocking. But, I mean, if you got a guy in the slot, he's getting throws down the field. I mean, he led the FBS tight ends and receptions. Hunter Long would be great. So going to a team, maybe the Seahawks. I mean, they got Will Dissly with the news of Greg Olsen just retiring. Whoever needs a tight end, Carolina.
What else do they have over there in Seattle? Who's the other guy?
Hollister.
Hollister.
Again, this guy's more traditional inline tight end, so he's not your kind of speedy under 4.7 kind of guy. You're Noah Fant, you're Irv Smith, but this guy can get the ball, catch the ball. So
kind of like an all-around
player. I mean, 6'11" wingspan is a crazy range. What happens with Travis Kelce? Like, you just, no matter how close you are to him, without getting a penalty, you can't stop him from catching the ball.
Yep.
Just the catch radius is too big.
Speaking of catch radius, man, and I'll roll it right into my tight end since we're sticking on brand here. Nice. And that's Kyle Pitts, man.
Uh-oh.
And I will go out there and trade whatever I need to trade to get between the 106 and the 109 in our rookie drafts this year and go out and draft Kyle Pitts, hoping that he gets drafted by my New York Giants and replaces this guy right here.
All right.
Evan Ingram. I will gladly put a Kyle Pitts jersey right here on the Tilt is Real, signed no less, if Kyle Pitts goes to the New York Giants. And yes, it's a total homer pick, but hey, we're dreaming here, right?
Yep, dream on.
So I don't think Ingram is anything more than a middle of the pack tight end. Unfortunately, we've been waiting for the breakout, and the drops just continue to pile on. Year after year, there seems to be some kind of an excuse where he's okay, but not where he was drafted. He was drafted as a top player in the draft. So why isn't he producing as such? He's a middle of the pack tight end. We see players like TJ Hawkinson,
Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas is a great one. Even Jonnu Smith at the beginning of the year looked better than Evan Ingram did. Evan Ingram came on later in the season when things started to click a little bit, like something snapped in his brain or something, that he had to actually go back for the ball. Besides just running the route, you actually have to turn around and look at it and actually see it come into your hands. But I mean, Kyle Pitts is the 101 for tight ends in this draft. His elevation, his athleticism, he is a true receiving tight end. Call him a wide receiver at 246, 6'6", 246. My man is electric, and I would love him. If we're dreaming here, I would love him on the New York Giants. We have the 11th pick overall. I think he could fall to us. There could be a situation where it actually does happen, and this dream does come true for us. So I think Kyle Pitts to the New York Giants. Shout out to Steffi Smalls. Together Blue, 100%. And I think it would definitely help Danny Dimes as well. So I think it's an all around fix. We don't have a number one said wide receiver. We have Sterling Shepard, or we have Darius Slayton. Golden Tate, he's probably done this year. Yeah, he's a unrestricted free agent this coming season. We have Saquon Barkley to rely on. We have Danny Dimes to deliver the ball. Evan Ingram, he hasn't lived up to his draft type. He really hasn't lived up to his draft capital at all. I think it's time to move on. You get some young blood in here that's been tearing things up. Kyle Pitts, sign me up, man. I would love it. I would definitely love it.
Chef's dreaming.
Oh man, I'm gonna sleep good tonight.
Dream
about Kyle Pitts to the New York Giants at 111 this year, 2021 draft.
C-Dot, you want to do your last one, and then I'll go through my last one?
Yeah, so I covered the running back, Ramondre Stevenson, tight end Hunter Long, quarterback Jamie Newman. That leaves a receiver, and a receiver I am eyeing is Dyami Brown. So he has a 31.2% dominator rating, 19.8 breakout age. And this 2021 draft, he is the highest yards per reception among draft-eligible receivers. Now, did he get like 10 receptions? No, he had 55 receptions. 51 last year, 55 this year. 2,000 and some change yards and 20 touchdowns over the last two seasons. So he was top 25 in deep target percentage, and he has the second most receiving yards the last two seasons behind Devontae Smith. So since 2000, there has been 11 seasons or 11 times a receiver had 50 or more receptions and 20 or more yards per reception. Dyami Brown has 2 of those seasons.
Wow.
This guy, I mean, if I'm dreaming on, let's say Allen Robinson moves on, I want Chicago Bears to draft this guy. I don't know if second, third round, I don't know where this guy is going to go, but he's going to be climbing draft boards throughout this entire offseason. So dreaming on just literally anywhere. It doesn't matter. Dyami Brown is a difference maker. He's a deep threat. That's the 2 seasons. So he had 20.3 yards per catch in 2019 and 20.0 yards per catch in 2020. 51 and 55 receptions, 12 and 8 touchdowns. The dude's a deep threat. He's going to get it done. get him somewhere. It doesn't matter. There's 32 teams. Someone's drafting him. Pay attention to the draft capital and the team, obviously, depth chart, landing spot, blah, 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 quarterback. We get it all. But who's going to be a problem in a good way?
Hey, C-Dot, with over 20 yards per catch, what happens if he goes to Kansas City or Buffalo?
They'll be throwing that ball from the 1 yard line to the 1 yard line. That'd be insane.
What happens if he goes to one of those guys?
Buffalo was one piece away. And I think if Zach Moss was healthy, it might have been a different game.
Well, Cole Beasley had a bunch of broken bones and stuff too.
Yeah, apparently.
But that's still like what you're saying. The guy with the strong arm, yeah, sure. Right? Well, Green Bay. Let's say Jordan Love comes in. He's got a decent arm. Get him Diami Brown and Devontae Adams.
Aaron Rodgers, and they just happen to get him a guy that can stretch the field. It's not MVS trying to stretch the field. You know what I mean?
Hey, dream on. I hope they get Rondale Moore.
Guy. I could segue right into my next guy.
Go for it.
And that's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Uh-oh.
And I'm dreaming him going to the Green Bay Packers.
Uh-oh.
Why? Because his brother plays for the Packers.
That'd be cool.
Okay, and that would be a first in history, correct? I know the Seattle Seahawks did both defensive players, but I don't know if we've ever had
offense. Yeah, maybe not.
But yeah, I like Amon St. Brown and
Amon-Ra
St. Brown. Sorry, he is a what is it? What do they call those? Pharaohs?
Yes,
but
he's
Kings.
a Trojan.
It means
king.
king.
Like 4 brothers like that, dude.
Yes. Yeah, although he is a Trojan. You're funny. Trojan horse. He would be the Trojan horse. A lot of people, I recently looked, I was researching a CBS live mock draft, and they had Rondale Moore going to the Green Bay Packers.
It should be.
But Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of fits that system better than I would say Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore, fast but small, more of a satback than a wide receiver. He does have great balance. Amon-Ra St. Brown has nice hands, breakaway speed, and he's got ups. Okay. 6'1", 195. They want that slender wide receiver to complement on the outside. They could move somebody else into the middle. Move Allen Lazard into the slot, please. Just move him into the slot and get it done with. Or maybe go and double back this season and get 2 wide receivers in the draft, like you should have done last year when this draft was so rich with wide receivers. But we all know what's going on in Green Bay right now. There's a lot of controversy on that coach. I feel bad for him, LaFleur. Sorry, buddy. LaFleur, you blew it, LaFleur. Yeah, I mean, if I'm dreaming here, it'd be a nice scenario to see Amon-Ra St. Brown go to the Green Bay Packers. Although Rondale Moore does make a lot of sense as well. But we'll see what happens. Hey, who knows? Maybe Terrace Marshall winds up there as well.
Get him a receiver.
I like that. And since we're dreaming here, like I want to dream about something and a little bit personal, guys. It's a little like close to the vest. And I'm writing an article, and the reason I'm dreaming, no, because I'm not selfish, and I could be like Chef. I hope that you possibly get Devontae
Look at the size of that hand.
You get Devontae Smith to the Dolphins, Devontae Smith to the Giants would make a bunch of sense for me personally, for the Chef's happiness, which would contribute to my happiness, and the jersey in the back would be Devontae Smith's jersey, right? That would be what happens. But what if Devontae Smith goes at 105 to the Cincinnati Bengals? What if Joe Burrow next year lines up and he's got
receivers?
Higgins, Devontae,
AJ Green is out though.
T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Tyler Boyd. That feels pretty good. I got a better one for you. What if somehow receivers, as they have been known to do, slide? Last year it was Ruggs sliding, Judy sliding. They all slid out of the top 10. What if somehow the Chargers end up with Devontae Smith?
Wow.
What if he gets to spend a year or 2 learning from Keenan Allen with Hunter Henry in the tight end, and he gets to be with Herbert? You know, the last time that a 6'1" wide receiver that was under 180, 185 was paired up with a potentially, historic quarterback, it was Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning. That could be the level of connection that you get out of a guy that just won the Heisman. He's only the 4th receiver to ever win it. It hasn't happened since 1991 when Desmond Howard won it. Like, it could be historic. So dreaming on, I would dream that somehow Devontae Smith ends up with Justin Herbert or with Joe Burrow, and they get to make that kind of a connection, and we get to see Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison play itself out all over again.
What happens if he fell to the Cleveland Browns? Or the
Kind of
Cleveland
do
Browns trade Odell and get that first pick?
And they were able to move up, then he would have more yards next year than Justin Jefferson.
Wow.
Yeah.
If Devontae Smith somehow winds up with the Cleveland Browns, I am taking him in the first 5 picks of my rookie draft.
I don't even know if it goes to Cleveland. If he goes to Cincinnati, anywhere, I'm taking him. Like wherever he goes, that there's a viable quarterback and a decent situation, preferably where he's Calvin Ridley all over again, and he can sit behind kind of like and stay in the shadows of a Julio Jones, like Calvin Ridley did, and do that with Keenan Allen. That's the ideal dream scenario for me for Devontae Smith.
Dream on.
That's dreaming, man. That is a great dream right there. Like you're waking up and you feel refreshed after that dream. Devontae Smith
a nice little sleep, yeah.
You know, it's like one of those great sleeps.
You got little marks up in you.
Yeah, like you just wake up, stretch.
I
you
like
feel
that.
good.
The marks up on you when you wake up in the whole bed.
Bro, you feel good too. Yeah.
Those are one of those dreams you want to have when you go to those dream centers and they test your sleep.
I've never been in one of those.
Well, I know they exist. It's called like sleep analysis or something like that. Anyway, that's what I'm watching for over the top.
And
what'd you say, Corey?
That's what like the Fitbit's for, man. That lets me know my REM sleep. You know, all that stuff.
You're sleeping peaceful if Devontae Smith goes anywhere with a viable quarterback. Juan, that's a great point. And I think that's the show, guys.
That is the show, boys.
Cool.
That was great, man. Corey, thank you so much for coming on here and giving some insight, some valuable insight at that, to some 2021 rookie mock analysis, guessing games, speculation. It's always fun. And we can't wait as we get deeper into the 2021 season. We are just at the cusp, gentlemen. We are standing on the cliff, still waiting to slide down the slope.
It's going to happen real soon, too. I love it.
I mean, we're 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl, just under 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl. We have the Senior Bowl kicking off on Saturday this week. I'm looking forward to diving deeper into these rookies as this offseason progresses, because what else do we have to do, Juan?
Oh, watch the quarterback carousel, the running back carousel, the wide receivers going to free agency.
Tight
what
end.
happened? Yeah, the tight end.
55 running back on free agency.
There's no combine, so it's going to be individual scouting. Who's streaming what? Who's listening to what beat reporter? That's why we're here. That's why Fantasy Intervention exists. That's why I join our circle underscore exists. That's why the tiltisreal.com is here, so that we can keep you informed and we can keep you ready for the regular season and for the transition into Dynasty.
And that's right, man. And shout out to everybody that joined us. If you are listening to this on podcast form, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a review, come back. We love the
banter, the interaction.
Listen, thank you. Lost for words. I host a podcast and I cannot think anymore. I've had too many of these back to reality.
You gotta snap back to reality.
These are pretty good, man, and they're local.
Back to reality, man. Like a 7, an 8.
It's only 6, I think.
It's a
we
don't really drink like that.
I'm drinking Bud Light.
6. I mean, we had a pre-gamer and then we drank 2 of these, so we're all fired up. We're going back to reality.
And if we're kind of talking about drinks, you know, I would look at Taste Testers by DJ on Fantasy Intervention YouTube.
And there's one of our guys, Mob GG. Shout out to you in the chat, man. Appreciate you for jumping in there.
Hey, yo, and Mob GG, I was kind of trying to say, and I'm forgive me, Chef, if I try to phrase it a little bit or more eloquently. Our fans drive our show, and the Sunday Tilt is driven by them. The interaction drives our Wednesday podcast. It drives our Monday recap special that we do during the regular season. Our waiver wire hero show that the chef does every single Tuesday with Nate Polvo for the fans, so that you can get a leg up on the rest of your league and have your waiver for everybody else. So what we do is we do it for you. We don't do it for anybody else. Same goes for.
I'm not getting paid, bro.
Same goes for Fantasy Intervention. Interventions aren't just for alcohol. We're here to intervene with your fantasy football life. And this is our circle underscore. Join our circle underscore is fantastic.
Whoa.
And Corey, everything you do for us, bro, behind the scenes with the editing, putting stuff up, like the content you create, everything you do on Twitter, absolutely fantastic. And we couldn't be grateful enough to have you on our show today as our guest. We had Tyler Gunther last week. We have you today. So big things happening every single week. And we're just blessed to be here, man.
Yeah, man. That's a shout out to Corey, dude. Corey,
man.
We started to collab on some Dynasty 101 stuff back when we were with DHH, and it just never came to fruition due to the circumstances that happened over at DHH, which they still have a podcast. I love Tyler. He came on last week. We all play Fortnite together, which is great. But
that's true.
You know, we built a relationship here, man, and I'm glad that we do the fantasy six pack with each other in this little tripod that we've got going on here. Case study is flying off the shelves now. We are selling and buying cases of stock of fantasy players. It is on fire, and you know what, man? I couldn't think of a better guy to have on to wrap up our tilting into Dynasty series, man. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. It was a pleasure. And this was my first ever show, so thank you guys. It was a great first show. Happy to be here anytime.
Oh, man. You're going to have to come on to some Sunday tilts next year.
Yeah.
I invited him. In my defense, I did invite him.
So now you guys know it was my first show, and I don't take compliments well. So, I mean, now that I got my feet wet, it's cool. I'll be more inclined to.
Wait, your first show what?
Ever.
His first live ever.
Shut up.
Get out.
Yeah, bro. So, I mean, I did one with Chase, but like I hosted him and we just did some like, I don't know, this was like early in the season, but yeah, this is like my first like show. So
what? Hey, C Dot, introduce you to Justin in the chat. Justin, what up, Justin?
What up, Justin?
This is C Dot's first.
Justin? This is my first show. I mean,
honored,
sorry if you missed. Oh, is that a Bulls? Is that Mellow?
No, I think that's Mellow on that. But
it's Mellow.
Bulls Mellow.
He's a big Jets fan, and we go back and forth because I'm a Dolphins fan. But like, yo, having C Dot on here, I didn't know your first show. We would have made a bigger deal. I would have got some champagne.
Yeah,
awesome. I'm just here, man, blessing with the vibes. You know why I'm here? I'm a Marshawn stuff. Take care of your chickens. Take care of your mentals. You know, so I'm just here chilling, man. Like, you know, first show, like whatever, man. It ain't nothing special. I'm just me. I'm a human.
Hey, first of many, man. You're welcome back here anytime, dude. You crushed it, Corey. You gave some valuable insight on taxi squads, on rookie analysis, and we are a part of a bigger circle. Join our circle _ Corey does a lot behind the scenes there. He edits a lot of content. He is a ranker by trait, I guess. He follows the Dynasty markets better than anybody I know.
Thank you.
In the industry, really.
He treats it like a market, like nobody
100%.
else.
He literally told me one time he does not watch football. He just watches the market trends.
I don't watch football.
It's brilliant.
So he's one of those guys on the other side.
Lost my credibility there.
No. Your credibility is 100% prime, bro.
And you have stats.
I'm Amazon Prime. I deliver next day of.
AWS, bro.
Thank you, guys. Seriously, thank you.
Low key and awesome graphics guy too. No disrespect to Bob Gilchrist.
I'm not as good as Bob. You know, if you guys don't know, he does the DTC, the Dynasty Trade Calculator stuff. He's obviously the best. Shout out Steven too, the new guy. I do all right.
You do more than all right, my dude.
And Justin in the chat's coming out here saying, "Did you hear about Watson wanting to come to New York?" Yes, 100%.
We mentioned that. He's had that no trade clause. It's up to him. It's where he wants to go.
Thank you, Justin.
There you go. Thank you, Justin.
And also, sorry for going Houdini. I left the show.
Justin is a homer to the Jets,
and I'm a homer to the Dolphins.
But I'll play that, man, because I love my Denzel Mims shares in Dynasty football, and that's what we wrapped up here. We wrapped up tilting into Dynasty, our 3-part series on the transition from redraft to Dynasty football. I hope it helped everybody, informatively, entertainment-wise. We always like to have a good time, Juan, here at the Chef's Table. We had some great guests this time around. These past 2 episodes have been awesome. Always a great time. And I think that's about it, man. Corey, why don't you one more time tell everybody where they can find your work, what you do, and plug yourself, bro. Go ahead.
All right, let's keep it easy. C.ff on the Twitter. Again, Dynasty content. I do a lot of analysis. I like to look at the past data from the years and then just analyze it and talk to what I see from the data. So I do not tell you what to do. I just give you information to help you make the moves you want to make in Dynasty.
That makes a lot of sense, dude. That was deep.
I love it.
I had to close my eyes. That's why I closed my eyes as I said that shit.
Deep dreaming.
Sorry. Hey, I also am sorry for swearing a couple times. They told me not to. It happens. Sorry to Chef and Juan. I am sorry for swearing. They told me not to.
The chef's table cooking up cuisine.
I am sorry.
Just freestyling. We're going off the rails.
Oh man, we're off the rails.
It happens. I'm sorry. It happened.
I love it.
Man. So it was great. Juan, tell everybody where you're at, where they can find your work, bro.
Well, right now I'm at the chef's table, but yeah, Juan Carlos Pena at FF Juan of a Kind. You can find me at thetiltisreal.com or at joinourcircle_ fantasyintervention.com. I have a new article coming out probably tomorrow or the next day at the latest. The Doppelganger series is back, where I'll be doing Corey telling you what the market is telling you, and I'm just telling you what my eyeballs tell you and like tell me, and I'm comparing players from the past to players from now to kind of help you gauge what the ceiling might be, an optimistic view per se on what a guy might become. So look out for those on the at joinourcircle_. And yeah, man, every Wednesday. I miss Mr. Swanson, but I loved having Corey here. You know what I mean? Catch Swan. So I'm glad it happened. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. And you can find me at FF_chef. My name is James Crease, the fantasy football chef. Thank you for tuning in to the Tilt is Real Fantasy Football Podcast. Don't forget to check out Fantasy Intervention tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
Game night.
You will see this guy looking fresh to death with my second time hosting the Fantasy Blitz Trivia Show. It is awesome. Sal Leto coming on, from host of the Podathon. Other great stars, my co-host, Nate Povote. Gonna be a blast. Check out one of my recent articles at Fantasy Intervention. It's called Running Back Roundups. It's all about free agent running backs this season. There are 55, and my first piece was on Aaron Jones. Look for the next one to come out in the next couple days. That you can find that at fantasyintervention.com, at joinourcircle_. And that about wraps it up, bro. Brought it full circle. Great show, guys.
Fantastic.
Corey, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome here anytime, man. You're always part of the Tilt Squad, bro. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tilt is Real Fantasy Podcast. Like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Check out our website at thetiltisreal.com for more great fantasy football content. We'll catch you guys next time on the Tilt is Real.